Hi everyone, Patrick with Colony Lab here to catch you up on everything Avalanche. The topic of this video is the Toyota Mobility Orchestration Network. On August 21st, Toyota Blockchain Lab released their technical white paper for the Mobility Orchestration Network, also known as MOAN. The vision for MOAN is to act as a trust-based infrastructure layer that securely connects diverse participants in global transportation. For me, this is one of the most exciting announcements, not just for Avalanche, but for the overall adoption of blockchain technology. So this video is going to be a lot longer than some of our others, but we really need to dig into this. It's going to be really tough for me to articulate just how excited I am by all the possibilities presented, but I think if you take the time to truly understand this and understand how this proof of concept can be a blueprint for what feels like infinite digital integration possibilities, I think you're going to walk away from this as excited as I am. Here's what's really got me pumped. First off, let's talk about what this is that Toyota is building, and we are going to start by quoting their white paper. Imagine a single car on the road. It may have been manufactured by Company A, legally owned by Company B, operated by Company C, driven that day by driver D, insured by Company E, and maintained by Company F. This intricate web of relationships is commonplace. Mobility exists socially because diverse participants share responsibilities and provide assurances within their respective domains. In other words, transportation isn't handled by just one person or group. It works because many different parties each play their role and trust each other to do their part. This is where the magic of blockchain and distributed systems have the opportunity to revolutionize the way we interact with data. Instead of each company keeping its own separate records that don't always match up, a blockchain allows everyone involved to share the same trusted source of information. Ownership, maintenance history, insurance details, or even who is currently driving can all be recorded in one secure, transparent system. This reduces confusion, cuts down on paperwork, and makes it much harder for mistakes or fraud to slip through the cracks. Blockchain allows for data to be shared and verified with no single party needing to own the data. You don't have to wonder if and when something was added because it's all on chain. It's all verifiable. Imagine buying a car where you get to check for yourself all the service that's been reported on the vehicle or any insurance claims or repairs. Sort of like a Carfax, but being able to actually verify what is entered and when. When you go to Carfax, they're sharing information that they keep on a private database, and you have to trust that it hasn't been altered and you have no idea when that data arrived. Toyota's Mobility Orchestration Network leverages not just one, but 4 separate blockchains in their approach to solve 3 key problems that they have identified. Organizational gap. Vehicle data is locked in separate silos across agencies and corporations. As we just mentioned, if you wanted information on a vehicle, you may have to check with the DMV for title information, check with the manufacturer to obtain information on recall history, or to find out the origin for certain parts. You may have to check with a fleet operator to get real performance data for things like mileage and fuel consumption. Industrial gap. No open, interoperable network exists to connect automakers, insurers, financiers, and service providers. So even if you wanted to put this data somewhere, there isn't currently a place for it. Lastly, there is a national gap. Regulations, tax systems, and insurance regimes vary across countries, complicating cross-border asset recognition. The system has to be flexible enough to conform to the various needs of each country or region while maintaining its own universal standard. Let's move on to the 4-chain solution without getting overly technical. For most of you watching this video, it's way more important to know why Toyota chose this path rather than to know how the path works. So if you're feeling lost here already, don't worry, we'll bring it around to explain why this is important. Here is a quick breakdown of the 4-chain solution Toyota has outlined for MOAN's prototype. We'll start with the Mobility Trust Network as it is the heart of the whole system. This chain gives vehicles and fleets their digital identity, called a mobility-oriented account, or MOA. Each MOA combines institutional proof like ownership and insurance, technical proof like sensor and maintenance data, and economic proof like usage and revenue. The utility network brings vehicles into daily operation. It's responsible for mobility services like ride-hailing, charging, maintenance, and real-time usage tracking. Each time a vehicle completes a trip, charges at a station, or undergoes service, that operational data flows back to the Mobility Trust Network, updating the MOA and strengthening trust. With trust being established, the security token network takes over. It transforms those verified assets into financial instruments. A single vehicle or even an entire fleet can be bundled and secured, opening the door for new forms of investment and financing. This is where vehicles become capital assets. Lastly, Toyota outlined a stablecoin network to power payments and settlements. Whether it's a customer paying for a ride, a fleet owner receiving revenue, or investors collecting returns from tokenized assets, the stablecoin network ensures money flows seamlessly across the ecosystem. In their white paper, Toyota lists some real-life obstacles that MOAN can overcome, such as helping to finance the deployment of autonomous taxis or green logistics that use validated emissions data. I'd like to give you a few examples that might feel like they're maybe more applicable to you. So imagine an insurance claim. Currently, the insurance company has to work with multiple sources of data, pool it all together, and it can be quite cumbersome. It can take quite a lot of time, but imagine a world where you get into an accident, the police report gets logged onto the blockchain, repair shop invoices it, puts that onto a blockchain, and then a smart contract triggers an instant payment based on predefined rules. Or imagine having tokenized proof that you own your car free and clear, and you want to use that to apply for a loan. Or imagine that you have verified data as a rideshare driver and a verified history of rideshare income, and you want to use that income to obtain a loan and dedicate 10% of your future income to paying that loan. Or what if you're a person who wants to be the lender on that and you just want to give a private loan? I promise I'm just barely scratching the surface on what could be made possible when data can be verified by anyone. And I'm super excited about this announcement, not because of these little particular use cases. This is about taking the first steps into revolutionizing data in all aspects. This is about actually moving from Web 2 to Web 3. It's about adoption. I want other companies to look at this and say, oh, wow, geez, this actually makes a lot of sense. What if we applied blockchain towards X, Y, and Z? How can we integrate all these siloed data sources and make them work together? You might be asking yourself, what does this mean for Avalanche? And I'm guessing about 70% of the community's first thought was, does this make price go up? And for people who've made it this far into the video, I'm hoping that number might be a little bit lower, but to answer that question, no, I don't see this moving that needle. Even if the chains were launched tomorrow, which they're not. This is an experimental phase, but even if it wasn't, they would not really draw a lot of fees for the network. But I think, in my opinion, that is a very short-sighted way to look at it. And if you look into the future, you can see how this is amazing news for Avalanche. First off, Toyota selected Avalanche for good reason. They are creating 4 interconnected L1s that are connected natively through Avalanche's interchain messaging. This is a huge vindication for those of us that have long believed that application-specific L1s are the most logical path forward. These systems would not work as L2s. It just simply wouldn't work for all sorts of reasons. Not only did Toyota recognize the advantage of the L1, they saw the advantage of multiple L1s, each chain optimized for its specific use case. Toyota selecting Avalanche helps put Avalanche on other companies' radars.
What chain did Toyota pick?
They chose Avalanche, sir.
Why did they choose Avalanche?
According to the Toyota white paper, Avalanche features high speed, low latency consensus and a multi-chain architecture of purpose-built chains.
As soon as they understand that Avalanche provides natively compatible yet completely sovereign blockchains not bound by the EVM, conformable to fit regulatory needs, I believe that the majority of enterprise companies will choose Avalanche when implementing blockchain solutions because it just checks all the boxes. This brings me to a new little segment, Avalanche Network Effects. There is a reason that Avalanche is called Avalanche. Think of each L1 as its own little snowball. Every time a snowball gets added to the network gets bigger, and the bigger it gets, the more snowballs it starts to pick up. And I'm not just talking about name recognition here. Every single snowball adds value for the next one to join because there are advantages to selecting the network if you can be natively compatible with all the other ones on it. When you think inside the block, which by the way, name of our new space, you realize just how much you can start playing with this data. For example, let's say that you're a hotel that just wants to create an L1 for your loyalty program. If you're on the same network as Toyota, maybe when someone checks in, you pre-register their car for parking, or you could offer them a 25% rideshare accommodation if they're coming in from the airport. You could get the message from the utility network to verify the ride, pay for the ride, and then you deduct some hotel points all in one transaction. Or maybe you're an apartment complex that wants to automatically authorize your charging station for tenants that have a registered EV. Or you could be a gaming company that wants people to be able to drive their car in your game, and you could verify it and let them have a skin of their own game. Or maybe you're just a lending platform that wants to allow someone to use their car title as collateral. Or you could build a usage based insurance pool where premiums can be adjusted based on how much you're actually driving. Or what if you wanted to build a platform to create a shared risk DAO where participants had verifiable usage data and driving histories, so that instead of paying an insurance company, you're now covered through a large pool of other drivers like yourself? Or what if your NFT project wanted to try and negotiate discounted gas for all of your verified holders? I could keep trying to go on and on like this, but I think I've made my point. The more applications on Avalanche, the more attractive it becomes for others. Each snowball that joins now unlocks even more potential for the next, and so on and so on. Avalanche wasn't created to have 20 or 30 chains. It was designed to accommodate thousands or even millions of interconnected L1s. And I'll say it again, that Toyota selecting Avalanche is a great vindication for all of us that believe that tech design is going to be the obvious choice for real world use cases. And I'm going to end this with one last quote from Toyota's white paper, which is this: "We chose Avalanche because it's design centered on multiple L1s, its fast finality, and its native ICM align with Moan's philosophy of building locally, collaborating globally." Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long one, and I appreciate you sticking with it. Till next time, I'll see you around.